Yeah, we are live. Hey, folks, it's Kurt, Mañana no Mas. I told you guys I was going to go live every day. So here we are. It's after 9 o'clock in California, which means it's after midnight on the East Coast. So, am I expecting a lot of people to jump in here live and interact with me? Probably not. But here's the deal. I made a commitment that I was going to do this every day. And so here I am. I wanted to get to you before we got to the end of the day. Now, you see, I just activated the banner at the bottom. Says, type in your comments and questions. Folks, if you're up, if you've got insomnia, if you're hanging out and you want to pop in with a comment or a question, or just tell me where you're from, I would love for you to jump in there and throw in that comment. Now, yesterday, I had a fair amount of people actually, pick it up on the Facebook profile instead of the Mañana no Mas page. So tonight I went ahead and went back on the Facebook profile page, and we're also on LinkedIn, and we're also on YouTube. If you get a chance, everyone says this, but wouldn't it be cool if you jumped in and subscribed on that Mañana no Mas YouTube channel? I've been doing live YouTubes for years, and I think I have something like 63 or 68 subscribers. So it would be really cool if I could do something about that number. And I try to bring decent stuff to the show when I can. Met a guy named David through the show yesterday. Turns out David and I have crossed paths before in LinkedIn. I noticed in our messaging to each other, because we'd messaged each other in the past, he was part of the Gene Girdley thread. So Gene Girdley was a podcast that I had done with a gentleman that used to work for Mitsubishi and a couple of other brands. I think he did Saturn as well. And he had published a book called The Miles and the Markers. He's a devout Christian, and he is off on a new stage of life outside of the automotive world. And I had the pleasure of having him on the Mañana no Mas podcast as he was transitioning into that kind of stuff. And so for me, it was just really cool to see that refresh and come back up again. And, David commented last night on the live that I was doing, and that kind of put us back together again, to bring up those good thoughts. And I really appreciate that kind of stuff. I think that's awesome when we can make those kinds of connections, especially at distance, online, like the way we are in this post-pandemic world. So the title of tonight's video is The Difference in Showing Up. And so this is what I really wanted to talk about today. It felt like such a win. You know how sometimes you're going through life and you're knocking things down, and you're like, man, I could really use a couple of wins. A couple of wins right now would be really nice. This morning I woke up and fell right into a win. I mean, I just loved it. Now the idea that it's after 9 o'clock at night and I start my day at 5:15, I'm feeling like maybe I'm burning that midnight oil too much. So I am going to try and get some rest. Actually just got back from small group, and I'm sharing a beer with you guys. So hopefully that's okay. I hope I don't get knocked off of LinkedIn for sharing a beer with you guys. But when I think about how I woke up this morning and what I started out with, the blessing was this. I have a training company. I work with motorcycle dealerships. It's called the Power Sport Academy. And I work with motorcycle dealerships on increasing their parts and labor sales. Well, I had a dealership that had been under my care for over a year. It was really a 2-year project. But there were some obstacles along the way and staff changes and things like that. And so it's the normal thing of running a business, especially a business in the power sports world. Power sports is a little bit different. It's almost, if I had to liken it to anything where someone might like, where a lot of people would understand what I'm talking about, it's kind of like working at a restaurant. Not in because you're serving food and doing dishes and stuff, not like that, but the personalities and the processes and the hierarchy of the business. It's real similar to a restaurant. You get a lot of those same personalities. So if you ever worked in a restaurant, hopefully you understand where I'm coming from with that. And so I come into these establishments and I'm really big on communication and leadership and internal culture. And my personal thought is we have to fix the communication, the leadership, and the internal culture before we can implement processes and procedures that'll really generate productivity, efficiency, and profit. Now, the reason I feel that way is because if I try to put processes and procedures into place before the culture is established or restored in some cases, what'll happen is people just won't want to do it, right? They'll fight it. They'll put it off. They'll procrastinate. They'll object. It'll just be one thing after another, and then the project never seems to have any stickiness. It never seems to really get off the ground and embrace its potential. And looks like we got a couple people joining here on the live. So if you're watching this and you want to throw in a comment or tell me where you're at or why you're up so late, that'd be awesome. And I'll see the comments roll in here. Maybe we can interact a little bit. But my blessing today was this client last week said, hey, I've changed some staff. I've got new staff, and I really miss your training for my business. I really want to get back on track, get restarted with you, and redo this process, redo this program. Now, to me, I was just like, part of me was blown away, because when you're a consultant, when you're a trainer, and someone leaves your flock, right? Let's pretend you're a shepherd, right? I'm the shepherd and they leave my flock. You feel like I let them down. I failed. Something didn't go right. And so when that lost sheep comes back, it's almost better than getting the new customer, right? To have a customer return is almost better than getting a new customer. And so I said, hey, last time we had a couple of things happen. Last time we had, people not show up. We had people not study. We had people not take the program seriously. If we're going to redo this, we really got to make sure that we tackle this, from a proactive standpoint, and we have buy-in. And so I do, what a consultant should do, right? We're going to lay down the law. We're going to smack this hammer. We're going to make this work. And hello from Las Vegas, from Frank Montez. Frank, welcome to the show, man. I'm glad you're hanging out. I'm going to put here, hi, Frank. And Frank, it looks like you signed in with LinkedIn. So if we're not already connected on LinkedIn, like if we're not, first level connections, go ahead and connect with me. And, maybe we can connect through LinkedIn Messenger or something like that and get to know each other a bit. But what was so cool about, I did a preliminary kind of like a needs assessment call with this new service manager at this dealership. And I just got this feeling like he's younger. He's not a child, but he's younger than me. He's got some good energy, and he was articulating the right things. He was talking about, oh, I'm committed to this. I want to see this happen. I'm open to learn. I want to be trainable, all of these things, which is a really good sign, because in this particular industry, it's real easy to become prideful and be like, I don't need training. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 10 years. I don't need anybody to tell me what I'm doing. And it's just real easy to fall into that. And he came across as, I want to be trainable. Well, the previous service manager barely did any online training. We've got these great courses in there. And I would say, hey, have you checked out this course yet? And he, I meant to, but he wouldn't do it. We would meet all the time. We would have these live sessions, and he wouldn't get it done. So today was the first official coaching day with this new client, with this, I shouldn't say new client, with this new staff member as part of a pre-existing client. Dude shows up having knocked out 3 or 4 lessons already. He has questions about the new environment that he's working in, and he's asking questions like, what is the best way for me to integrate with the existing staff? What is the best way for me to interject or integrate new processes within this existing staff without rocking the boat too much? And see, these are key questions, the way that he's asking them, because it's showing that he's got enough emotional intelligence to say, I can't just come in here, like a cinder block and just, we're going to change this, right? I can't come in and just rule the roost right out of the chute with no respect, no longevity, no history of service. Like, you can't just show up and go, there's a new sheriff in town. This is the way we're going to do things now. It just doesn't work that way. And so what's really cool, I thought somebody was coming in. I was worried about a dog escape, and I got the door open over here. But what's really cool about the way that he is approaching this is he's coming at this hat in hand with a little humility, and he's saying, I'm open. He's saying, I want to run this place. I want to be in control of it. I want to help this facility reach its potential, right? I want to be the leader, but I have enough humility to realize that I got a lot to learn if I'm going to take this to the next level. So I'm here to learn what you're willing to teach me. And that, to me, man, you want to talk about refreshing. I mean, the difference in showing up. I mean, it's the title of what I just put out there today. The difference in showing up. And let's be frank, let's be blunt. Sometimes I'm a published author, I'm a public speaker, you know, I'm the consultant, I'm the coach. Sometimes it's I'm not going to say difficult to keep your humility. I think I do a pretty good job of keeping my humility, but maybe I don't portray it enough. Maybe I don't wear it on my sleeve as openly as I should sometimes. I don't want to be the guy that always has the answer, because it's a learning process for me too. But to work with somebody that has that that grounding, that has that humility, that has that openness and that trainable attitude. I mean, when they show up and they do the work, and then they're open for your input on top of doing the work, it just speaks volumes. And it becomes a reciprocal learning environment, because then I'm reminded myself, okay, who am I connected to? What network circles do I interact in? Who can I learn from? Who can I import activity, thoughts? If you study scripture, you might hear, you know, are we equally yoked, and things like that. Well, a yoke isn't necessarily always the bar across a pair of oxen. Sometimes a yoke it's the perception or the methodology of the teacher. And so sometimes I need to observe others from that rabbinical, that teaching position, and say, I can absorb that. You know, I can absorb that from you. I can take on that yoke, for your burden is light. You know, if I was gonna actually quote scripture. But for me, it's really, really interesting. And what a blessing to have someone show up prepared, trainable, proper attitude, humility, thankfulness, and on top of that, a sense of competence. I mean, that's the whole package. That's the whole package. And so when I study leadership, when I write about leadership, when I speak about leadership, these are the things I try to communicate to people. These are the things that, if I'm doing a corporate talk somewhere, these are the attributes that I'm trying to expose in people. And then when you come along on a coaching or consulting run, and then you actually meet people that fall within that spectrum, it's enlightening. It's a really light, just refreshing, fantastic voyage. So that's that. I'm super thankful. I'm happy that you guys got to hang out. Frank, it was great to see you. If there's any other comments coming in, I haven't seen them yet. Sorry about that. It's a short one tonight, but it's a late one tonight. So I'll try to get on here earlier tomorrow and do my daily talk a little bit earlier in the day. Maybe we can get tomorrow at 7:00 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. If you're not already following a guy named Dan Dominguez on LinkedIn, he's part of the Why Institute. Every week on Wednesday, he has somebody on called Why Not Wednesday, and he does a quick interview with them. Tomorrow he's got a good one, and it's going to be later in the day. Usually they're at noon, but tomorrow's, according to the invitation I got today, it's at 7:00 p.m. So I just wanted to give Dan Dominguez a shout out for that. And in fact, I'll put a comment in here. I'll say, don't forget to watch Why Not Wednesday on live at 7 p.m. PST Wednesday. And we'll tag. I don't know if you can tag. I think it's Z. Yeah, it doesn't tag in the comments, but I thought I would try that. Anyway, folks, It's been great. I love being able to talk to you guys like this. We're going to keep this up for a while. Like I said, at least all this month, I'll be going live every day. I have got a ton of content and messages to bring to you. I hope that you enjoy them. I hope that you stick with it. And I know that something's working because our website traffic in the last week has tripled. So I'm really, really happy to see that result. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you see in Mañana No Mas where you're like, hey, what does that mean? Or how can I take advantage of that? Don't hesitate to reach out. Hit me up on either Messenger, LinkedIn Messenger, or just hit the contact link in the website and we can get together. Have a good one. Oh, and before I leave, I'm going to do this one. I made this one today. I like this one. Keeping it real.